All right, let's move on to the mission. Anybody read the book Good to Great?
Mm-hmm.
That really, just those words, good to great, epitomize what all of us are up to, and that's why we're here. James Collin is the author, and I think he coined the term big BHAGs, big, hairy, audacious goals. So I know you guys are familiar with the SMART acronym: specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and time-based. And remember, the T stands for thrilling, not time-based. The M, measurable, always put a deadline in your goal, by the end of 2021 or something along those lines. And then when you have your big, hairy, audacious goals, back into milestones. Like if you want to run a 5K, 3.1 miles, and you haven't run for 10 years, an important milestone might be to walk a half mile.
Mm-hmm.
And then the next milestone would be to jog a quarter mile, and then jog a half mile, and so on. So that's where milestones are measurements that tell you you're making progress towards your goal. And then your mission statement should be so expansive that there's no flipping way that you can do it yourself. So let me say that in different words. Your mission statement is key future time-based accomplishments, or BHAGs, big, hairy, audacious goals. Milestones, financial goals, be smart, specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and thrilling. How will you know that you're making progress? How will you know when you've arrived? Let's look at an example of a guy I know. So the Peak Business Coaching mission is to help 10,000 small business owners make an additional 10,000 a month with one more day off per week by the end of 2025. So that's pretty simple. I may not make it by 2025, but this is what drives me. Group coaching is an example of leverage, but I'm going to need to get like 100 people in group coaching. I'm going to need to do workshops. I'm going to need to get more coaches. I'm going to need to expand my marketing and continuously improve my processes and my teaching, or R. See how it goes from I to we.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Other examples include like Microsoft. I don't know how many years ago it was, maybe 25 years ago, said that they were going to put a personal computer in every home in the United States. And they've pretty much done that. Disney, be the happiest place on earth. I don't know how they measure that, but I believe they've really done that. So it can be a simple, powerful statement. Anybody have anything they want to share on this, or examples or questions?
I love Disney.
Yay.
Like just the whole culture that they've built, the way that everything's done, the way they instill that with their people, and it's just phenomenal. Like if you can ever go to, there are actually programs that for Disney University, if you can ever do anything like that, if you're, it's just a fantastic experience to do.
Absolutely. And hold on one second, Chris, because I want to build on what you said, Stacy, because it's so like the mission to be the happiest place on earth. Maybe that sounds impossible, but they have really done it. And they're not just saying, let's make this happiest place on earth for our customers, but for all the actors, for all the service providers, for the people that clean up trash. They have incredible training. They have incredible, team spirit. Everybody associated, the vendors are happy. Yeah, Chris.
Well,
Love to
I was
hear.
going to say when you're working with them, it can be a different experience because I've had both sides where Disney was a client in my former life, and they're very demanding with what they expect from their vendors. So you got to be able to up your game and make sure you meet their expectations.
Okay. Yeah, and just because we have a mission like that doesn't mean we're going to be perfect and that every
Yep.
employee is
Mm-hmm.
happy all the time. And I think that what that really points to is they're so clear on their mission, their vision, their values, their purpose
Yeah.
that they can be demanding in order to have their client experience.
Right.
And
Wouldn't achieve
and
it if they didn't have
sometimes
high expectations.
sometimes being demanding up, you know, and you said ups people's games, that could be good for the vendor.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, great. Chris?
Um, I, I can't resist bringing this up, but I'm gonna have to run. I couldn't reschedule the meeting, but I'm loving everything that we're going over, Jim. And I felt I've got a client that you know, I'm doing the sales and sales strategy and execution. And I find that even though my client is a lot more marketing based, he owns a marketing agency, but I find that it's difficult to get people thinking about this stuff. I've asked him if he's got a coach, if he's, I'm trying to kind of indirectly mention that revenue is not all it's about. It's easy to make revenue once you've got these items figured out. And this presentation is really going to help me make that point. But I'm just wondering, Jim, is it, how, you know, it's tough as a sales guy to say revenue isn't the most important thing. Have you thought about this and that? It would really result in much easier selling. So it's not a point that if we can, maybe it's not the perfect time for it, but I just thought I'd share that.
No, that's a great question. And let me just see if I can add some insight that helps you and many of us. So the why for that client might be revenue. And the first thing is to give people what they want, not what they need. So you probably know what they need, but they're not going to be open to that right away. So I would get clearer on their why. So what I mean by that is how much revenue, by when, and what would they do with additional revenue or additional profits? You know, would they fund their kids' college? Would it go towards retirement? Would they travel? Do they have a really cool watch that they want to buy? Like, there's no judgment around that, but that's going to get them, you helping them get what they want. And then, you know, do some tactical, you know, fish for them, teach them a little bit of fishing. And then you can go into, hey, do you want even more? Do you really want to go big? And that's when you can share these foundational principles, but you can also share that when people are focused, and this is a really strong learning. There was a time in 2008 where I lost a boatload of money, a big boat. And my ego was hurt. I was failing. I wanted to make that money back. And when I focused on making the money back and my ego, I failed miserably. When I got back to the basics and I got back to my purpose and that I really want to help people and I want to solve problems and I came from the heart, then things started taking off again.
Jim, can I offer something else to Chris?
Please.
Chris, in your presentation, and I'm just sensing that it might be a help. In your key word there was the revenue. That's a big word. What if you change that word to abundance?
Mm-hmm. I like that.
Yeah, and it's really up to the client what the words mean and what resonates with them. And abundance
Exactly.
and prosperity are great words in and abundance can include other things. So I really like that, Corinne. Abundance can be having time, having energy, as well as money.
It almost makes it almost makes the goal bigger than money.
Okay, fantastic.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Jim, Corinne, everybody. I really appreciate that. It's definitely a nice way to pivot and gets me away from staring down that problem and gives me some creative ways to work around it. So thank you for that.